Welcome to the Kick Ass Fantasy Football Show. I am your host, Matt Brick, and I'm joined by my co hosts, Henry the Commish Brick and Jeff the Doctor Hathcock. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. How are we
Good
doing
evening.
today, gents?
Looking forward to a great season. I'm pumped, man. Pumped to be back talking about football. Nothing better.
Can't wait.
That's right. We are back better than ever. We are now live on YouTube, and we are on Cruising 92.1 WVLT Vineland. So this is great. We're really excited to start the show this season. So let's get it going. All right. First and foremost, we will start with the news that's going on in the league. It's been a long off season. The first thing that came to my mind when I was writing this stuff was Brian Robinson Jr. He's, you know, being traded most likely. He didn't play last night in the preseason game, so it's very likely that he can get traded. And now Bill Merritt is what they're calling him. Can get the I guess role there in Washington. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, as exciting as Merritt looked, and look, he looked great on a couple runs, but Rodriguez looked really great too, right? So to me, we got to remember Eckler's still there. I think no matter what, we're looking at a committee kind of running back situation. That's how I'm saying. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side. Listen, Ja'Cory, Bill, he wasn't able to play college, and that was just it wasn't on his fault. It was something with the NCAA. It was on them. So he literally was kept out his entire year. He's explosive, and if you look back to his last year where he fully played, he was a workhorse. He had over 1,300 yards. He had a ton of touchdowns. I definitely think he's got more juice than Brian, which is, what they're seeing in training camp. So I definitely see the reason as why they want to move off of Brian Robinson. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to be a workhorse. I'm sure. They've got good backs there. Like we said, Chris Rodriguez, he looked good too. You still got Eckler, who was, he was very good last year catching the ball out of the back. But I do think Ja'Cory, he has a real shot to be, everyone's looking for that next Puka. He's a 7th round pick, but he's definitely got a shot to be on a good offense with a good team and, have some opportunity. So I love it. I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, that's for sure. It'll be interesting. I wonder where Brian Robinson Jr. will end up going if he does get traded. We will see. Rashee Rice, he's looking to get suspended. The question is how many games he will be suspended. Some are saying as little as 4 to 6 games, or even more, maybe 10 games. Rice is, the number one guy there in Kansas City, and now he's facing a suspension. We don't know what yet, but we will see what that is soon. Of course, he has a September 20th court date, which I've never heard ever in my entire life, that they're just going to do this after the first 4 games, which is crazy to me. But that's what we're dealing with Rashee Rice.
Yeah, I'm hearing 10 games possible. I guess he gets to play the first 4 games, which is actually great for fantasy. And, if he gets down for 10, he comes back to help you, basically win your league, at the very end of this thing. So I guess we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, looking at it, the league was going for 10. The NFL commission, they pushed back and they're trying to get that reduced, which, definitely makes sense. But we've seen, I still remember when Josh Gordon, and look at Deshaun Watson, another perfect example where he was kept out of the league for, it's not like he didn't plead guilty already. Like he's accepted the fact that he caused this accident. He hurt these people and all this stuff. And people are like, 4 to 6 games. Like I'd be perfectly fine if he gets 8 to 10 games. He's off my radar. I'm not going to be drafting him anywhere just because of the headache of the up and down and so much unknown. But maybe someone will will, be able to stash him on the bench for pretty much the year, and maybe he will help win you your playoffs. Who knows?
Right. I mean, maybe if you take him early, right, and he does well those first 4 games, you trade it, and depending on how well your team did or didn't do, maybe you can end up trading to a team that may be in a better position that can hold him, and you can get some value back from him. I mean, that would be his fantasy strategy on him if you're deciding to go take him, which to me, he's like my 5th receiver if I am taking him. But he does see. I've done a few drafts already. I mean, it looks like he has fallen quite a bit down the draft board, obviously, because of all this news.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's very, very true. We will see what happens. We don't know yet, but who knows? For Rashee Rice, I'm not going to draft him because I don't think it's worth it. Matthew Stafford has been practicing. That's exciting. He hasn't been practicing all offseason because of his back. Not great, but he's practicing. That's the good news for him. Daniel Jones, he got named the quarterback 1 today over Anthony Richardson. I don't think this is a shock to the fantasy community. I think the way Anthony Richardson got completely blindsided, sacked this last week kind of just proved the point and why they signed Daniel Jones. So that's their QB1 in Indianapolis. They also have another QB1, Joe Flacco in Cleveland. I think this could have been announced a while ago. I mean, I think everyone and their mother knew that Joe Flacco was going to be QB1. I think people are more curious as to who's going to be the backups because there's so many quarterbacks on that team. But I think Joe Flacco's 40 now, so it's kind of wild to see him, been playing for so long. But now he's still out there playing football. We'll see how long.
Are you guys, with the news of Flacco, are you guys interested in all in any Browns players?
Yeah, I mean, now I am. He gets the ball out, man. I mean, I get it. He's 40 years old and everything, but I think at least with him, you have just kind of like the Daniel Jones situation, where you have a little bit more what you're getting. He's a little bit more competent behind center, and I find that with Flacco because I guess they still haven't figured out if Shador's real or not. And although I thought when I watched Gabriel, he drove down the field a little methodically. I guess they still have to grow into the position. So at least they have someone to follow behind to, hopefully figure it out for them. But I think Flacco helps with fantasy a lot. That running back and receiver, really tight end, and Njoku's loving it, right?
That's what I was going to hit on because right now, especially like in the drafts I'm doing. If I'm taking a late tight end, Njoku's in that mix. And with the Flacco news, it just, it solidifies that. I mean, who knows what's going to happen if Flacco loses the job or gets hurt. But yeah, Njoku's right now is, especially for tight end, a late round tight end, that's who I'm trying to target in drafts.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of best ball drafts this off season, and I haven't really been drafting a lot of Browns. If any, I feel like maybe a little bit of Jerry Jeudy, maybe a little bit of I was into Samson for a bit because of the Quinshon Judkins, which we still kind of don't know about. We'll see what happens there, even though his case was dismissed, but there still might be a suspension for him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be a good team, so that kind of throws me off for fantasy. But we'll see. How explosive that offense can be. All right. Last but not least, Jalen McMillan. He got hurt today. They're saying he's going to miss a decent amount of time. I read it could be up to the bye week, which is week 9. So I mean. I already put Jalen McMillan, like I was I was thinking about putting him in my do not draft for later, but I was like, I think the fantasy community already knows about McMillan and Amika Ibuka. So now Amika Ibuka, the rookie wide receiver in Tampa, is just going to get so many targets, especially now that McMillan is gone, which I mean, completely off the table for a while, and Chris Godwin being hurt, and he is now on the pup, which means he will miss the first 4 games. That means Mike Evans, Ibuka, and Kate Otten are going to get fed. I'm sure Bucky Irving will get his opportunities as well. So this is going to be a very exciting Bucks offense. I think they're going to score a lot of points. I think they're going to throw a lot. So yeah, this is great for Baker Mayfield. If anything, you guys, this is a Baker Mayfield speech.
Yeah, I mean, he just makes it so exciting, especially for fantasy. And as you know, Matt, you helped me last year with this draft as I won the FFPC League Championship. This year, Baker was our quarterback, and that was on your recommendation. So I want to thank you for that. That was excellent. But I'm looking for it. Ibuka is going to be, I think, great. Evans, he's the consummate superhero on that team. Bucky Irving is just a monster. So still going to be a lot of excitement even with all these damn injuries.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think,
Jeff.
though. Like Mike Evans is 32 years old. I mean, and he's got the 1,000 yards that he's going for. He's going for the record, but Ibuka, he's got a 32-year-old wide receiver in front of him on the depth chart, and if Evans goes down, like, he is going to be a target hog. He's a late round pick. He's not in the middle rounds. He's like 7, 8, 9 is where I'm seeing him go. And right now, like, he's a smash for me. Like, you've got Godwin who's on the pup, so Godwin's not playing. McMillan's, like Matt said before, he can be out until week 9 on the bye. That's an insane value right there. You're talking about value picks. Like, he has a shot to not only start the season strong, but as the rookie wide receivers always go, they get better as the season goes on. They get more comfortable. They get more involved. And I just think he's going to be a smash pick this year for sure. I think Baker's going to have him as a go-to guy.
Yeah. All right. Do we have anything else for news and notes? No, I don't want to talk about anything else. All right. Let's go into who to draft. These are guys that we are planting ourselves and saying, yes, draft this person. I'm drafting this person. Get them on your fantasy football teams. Jeff, why don't you start?
Yeah. So, I mean, if the first round wasn't so loaded this season, I think Chase Brown would have been an easy top 12 pick. Instead his ADP right now, it's hovering around like 23, 24 at the very end of round 2. The Bengals are fully committed to him as their workhorse. They brought back Samaje Perine. He's merely just a play-in. Very, very clear for like just the passing down work. Taj Brooks is just a late round 6 rookie, and Zach Moss is no longer on the team. I just think Brown's going to be an awesome pick. I've traded for him in multiple leagues in Dynasty this year. I think he's just a smash. He's exactly what that offense wants. And to me, he reminds me of like an Austin Eckler. So I think he's a go-to. I'm trying to get him everywhere. I've seen him still go in the 3rd round, which is kind of crazy. If you're able to get Chase Brown in the 3rd round, like that's an awesome value. The next guy on my list, I've got Matthew Golden. I mean, everyone else is hurt. I mean, if it's not Matthew Golden, who is it going to be? I mean, Jaden Reed's still in the walking boot. He's Green Bay's first wide receiver selected in the 1st round since 2002, which I think just speaks to the type of person they're looking at. In college, he was just an immediate impact player as a true freshman, despite playing alongside players like Tank Dell. And at Texas, he was leading the receiver for a playoff team with a plethora of NFL receiving talent already there. And most importantly, I go back to it. They don't have anyone else. It's going to be Tucker Kraft. It's going to be Matthew Golden. And I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a heavy dose of just running the ball again. But I like Matthew Golden where he's going right now. And then for me, the tight end, if you're going for one of the top tight ends, it's got to be George Kittle for me. I think it's too rich right now to go after Brock Bowers in the second round and McBride in the late second or third. I think Kittle's still in that sweet spot for me. It's still optimal, especially in your home leagues, to draft that elite tight end. And he's going to get so much volume this year. Like that again, just like Matthew Golden's situation where there's so many other receivers hurt. Kittle has the ultimate opportunity. Like, yeah, McCaffrey's going to get his, sure, but everyone else, is either hurt or gone. Like Ayuk's not going to be playing for a while. Debo's gone. Juwan Jennings is hurt. There's so many things going wrong with that wide receiver room that George Kittle, it just looks like he's going to have an absolute smash of a season this year.
Kittle's a beast, man. I love everything you said, Jeff. I think that Josh Jacobs is going to benefit huge, just like you were saying, with what's going on with all their injuries. Matthew Golden, man, has just an amazing opportunity to do really big things. It's the first time since I don't remember 82 or something that the Packers actually took a wide receiver first, right? Something crazy like
2002.
Oh, it was 2009. 2002. So, I mean, that's great. 23 years, and he has a huge opportunity with all these injuries on their offense. It's crazy. Speaking of tight ends, I have one. I love T.J. Hockenson at tight end this year. I mean, he's not obviously part of the top three, but remember he was injured a lot of the 6-7 games last year, right? And then when he came in, he had to start understanding the offense, and then he played really well. And I think he's going to have a huge breakout year. And I think because of all those stats and everything that he went through last year, you can get him probably in the 7th round, and I think he finishes in the top 3 at tight end this year. I think he's a guy definitely to go for later. Like you said, Jeff, Brock Bowers, going in the second, Kittle, going as early as he's going to go. If you want to wait on a tight end, Hopkins is definitely a guy I would target. Who I know I'm going to be targeting. At wide receiver, I'm loving Calvin Ridley. He still is fast. He's still getting huge separation on the ball. He is in a much better situation this year with Cam Ward at quarterback. And I think with all those things in place, he's going to put up some big numbers. Here's another guy you could probably get as your 3rd wide receiver in most drafts. And I've mocked a ton of them. I've probably drafted 6-7 teams already. I've been going nuts. I have another draft tomorrow night. I'm just getting geared up, but that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing him go really late. I'm getting him as my 3rd wide receiver almost every time, which is crazy. But I really want to talk about quarterback. Look, we all know, us three know the top 5 guys. Your Josh Allen, your Lamar Jackson, your Jaden, your Jalen Hurt, the heck's his name, Jaden Daniels, and Joe Burrow, right? If you don't get one of those guys who are just, they're going to put up big monster numbers really late in the draft, and I'm finding this as well, and I'm talking as late as the 10th round, you can get a quarterback known as the Brock Ness Monster, Mr. Brock Purdy. He is a beast, okay? I love him. San Fran has a great schedule this year, okay? Very easy schedule. He has become one with this offense, and I think he has an opportunity to put up some big numbers. And, yeah, it's Jennings. Juwan Jennings is going to do a lot of the work. Ricky Pearsall. But guess what? You have a healthy Christian McCaffrey. And as you said it, Jeff, you have Kittle. He's got weapons to throw the ball to, man. Purdy is a great guy. If you're not getting one of those top 5 quarterbacks, this is a guy. This is a guy I'm targeting, and I love. I think he's a guy that can win your league for you. You heard it here first on the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. And then finally, I want to talk about a little bit about running backs. You got to be excited about watching Travion Henderson, Amari and Hampton. I mean, these guys are just excitement, and they could easily be your 2, maybe even your 3 at running back this year. That's what I'm seeing in a lot of drafts right now. These guys, I think, are going to be they're in positions to put up big numbers on the teams that they're on. The Chargers, Greg Roman, my former schoolmate at St. James and Holy Spirit, he loves to run the ball, right? He runs it, and Hampton, man, he's just going to put up some numbers. And we all saw in preseason so far, Henderson, man, he's just dynamite. He ran that ball back on the kickoff. The guy is hungry for that end zone, and I think he's going to get it done this year.
All right, yeah, just to touch on what you guys were just talking about. I mostly agreed with Jeff on his guys there. He has Chase Brown as a great guy.
Of course.
I have him as my running back 8 on the season. He's going to be a baller, and Chase Brown, draft him. Matthew Golden, I'm a big Matthew Golden guy. I think he's great. He played great at Texas. He's just a beast. The clips I've seen on Twitter are just like, whew, they needed this. I have him ranked as my wide receiver 35 this season. And George Kittle, I'm not drafting a lot of George Kittle. I don't know what it is about him. I think I'm just, I don't know. Maybe it's name fatigue, but I'm just scared he's going to get hurt. I feel like he's gotten hurt a lot. And as much as I believe in the talent and all that, I have him as my tight end 3 on the year. I'm just not drafting tight ends high this season. He's gone in like the 3rd or 4th round. Decent value for a top three tight end. So I understand it. I'm not doing it. The commissions guys. Whoa, what are we doing? We got TJ Hawkinson. I have him as my tight end 14. Yeesh. Might have to look at some other articles there. He has a rookie quarterback throwing the ball to him too, which I'm not really sold on. We're all just collectively saying this kid's going to be great. I'm immediately impacted, no problems. Like I'm not a believer in that. I think he's going to need to develop first. Who was the wide receiver you said? I don't even remember. It was Calvin Ridley. My apologies. I have him as my wide receiver 43, so you can take him. I'll be getting better, guys, when you are drafting Calvin Ridley. I think that's a great pick for you and anyone else that I'm drafting any of my fantasy football leagues. Calvin Ridley is yours. Now, as of right now, I have Brock Purdy ranked as my QB9, but I'm totally going to relook at that because that was before every single person on this team got hurt. And I mean, even today, Patrick Taylor, who they just signed a couple days ago, hurt, out for the season. So I listen, the 49ers schedule is immaculate. It's great. I don't see how the only issue is that everyone's gotten hurt. So
you're making my point. They have a great schedule, right?
They have a great schedule. Doesn't mean anything if they're all hurt. So I think that I was even contemplating taking the unders and overall wins today because I was like, man, they're just decimated. So I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. Do they have a great opportunity? Yes. Will Jawan Jennings still be there? I don't know. Is he really hurt or is it just contract negotiation? Ricky Pearsall, I'm sure. I know he got hurt, but he's back, so that's positive. But like Brandon Ayuk's coming off an injury, and all of their there's so many wide receivers that got hurt, and even running backs. So I'm a little nervous for the 49ers now. I might have to relook up Brock Purdy's stats.
I'm telling you, Pearsall, beast, man. He's going to be monster this year. I hope
so. I do think if they are healthy, they can be a very dominant team and they will win a lot of games. But as of right now, it's not really looking like that. So that's my skepticism on the 49ers. All right. Now it's time for my guys. I have Bucky Irving here to draft. Bucky Irving, scored 244.4 fantasy football points last year in PPR leagues, making him the RB13. As of right now, his average ADP across all platforms is the 2.09, going as the running back 21. I currently have Bucky Irving projected as the RB3 on the season. I am huge on Bucky Irving this year.
Yes.
I think he's going to dominate. I expect him to completely take over the backfield in Tampa Bay, and I think he's going to have an excellent season. Now, I know Rachaad White's still there, but listen, I took Bucky last year, and I was not expecting what happened. Not at all. Like, if you told me before I took him that he was going to explode like that, I wouldn't have believed you probably. But he did. And now I'm just like, how are they not going to utilize him in the same way? Yes, they're going to pass the ball. He tends to be the catching back there. I understand Rachaad White's still there, but I just think that it's obvious that Bucky Irving's the guy, and I think he's just going to dominate. I think they're going to do really well. That's an offense I'm really interested in investing in fantasy football, because I just think that it's going to be a great offense and just dominate on the field. My next guy is Marvin Mims Jr. Let's see what I have here. Marvin Mims had 129.5 fantasy points last year in PPR leagues and finished as the wide receiver 57. Not what you want. However, he had a 9.1% target share. Again, not what you want. But I believe the sky is the limit for Marvin Mims this season. His target share will not only go up in this very exciting Broncos offense, but I believe he's also going in drafts with an average ADP of, funny enough, wide receiver 57 from the 12th to the 14th round. So he's an easy late round pick. I currently have Marvin Mims as my wide receiver 30 and believe he will have an unbelievable season. Now, I understand they have Courtland Sutton, but I have Courtland Sutton higher than Marvin Mims. He actually might be one more higher. 29 probably. I'll have to relook at that. But even though I have Courtland Sutton higher, I would rather take the upside in Marvin Mims, because Courtland Sutton is being drafted where? In the 5th or 6th round. Mims is being drafted in the 12th, so I'm much happier taking that risk.
Huge value, man. Huge value. The only thing I have a question on that is, I mean, they did take Evan Ingram, right? Don't you think he's going to take away a little bit from Sutton? I think from Sutton. I think Mims, I mean, I'm all in with you on Mims, man. And I love that he's going to the 12th round. It's crazy. He's such a great value there. But I think Evan Ingram bites into Sutton a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. I actually have, I have Evan Ingram listed as my tight end 9. So he'll have a decent year. He'll have a decent year no matter what. But the real thing is, it's Bo Nix. Bo Nix is going to just throw the ball a million times. All right. Last but not least, I threw in a quarterback here. I'm sure I don't know if this is controversial anymore, but I have Trevor Lawrence. He has a new coach now. Not only that, but he has a new wide receiver on his team, and he's pretty good. So last year, Trevor Lawrence finished as a quarterback 27. Not great, but he just got a better coach, who basically just helped Baker Mayfield become who he is. And now enter Travis Hunter. Lawrence's average ADP is in the 12th round, and I think he can be an excellent, great backup quarterback for your team. I have him projected as my quarterback 13 this season, and I love the value in the 12th or 13th round. I think with
very bold, very bold.
I don't know, man. I think with the way he connected with Brian Thomas Jr. last year I was so shocked. I drafted him in our Dynasty League. and was not expecting him to have a great rookie year. I was like, you know what? He's a rookie. He'll probably develop and be that. He ended up being like the wide receiver 5 last year. So
He had most of that production though with Mac
Oh, yeah.
Jones, not Trevor Lawrence. And if
no,
Trevor
you're right.
Lawrence,
You're right. I do remember Mac Jones. Yes, you're right. I do think though that Travis Hunter being there will help. But I mean, will help Lawrence. And now everyone's really hype up on Brenton Strange on that offense, which I guess I have to do more homework on because I don't really get it. But I think this will really help Trevor Lawrence this year. I'm really excited.
I agree. I mean, the new coach, what he did with Baker Mayfield, I think he can do with Trevor Lawrence. And talk about Brenton Strange, I think he's a great late round tight end that could put up some numbers for you for sure. This offense could be excellent.
yeah, I mean Liam Cohen had the Buccaneers firing on all cylinders, and even when they were down Evans, Godwin, like they were getting, they were getting Cade Otton involved and making him the number one target. Like he has a very great offensive mind. I think this is going to be great for Trevor Lawrence in the long run, not just for this season, but for the rest of his career. I think Travis Hunter, I think he's going to be an incredible player this year. He's playing both sides, Mr. Do-It-All, but especially in that screen game, like Liam Cohen loves to use the screen game. And I think Travis Hunter is going to be a very, very big part of that game. I hope BTJ does too, because, I just picked him up in one dynasty league. I'm super high on him. I think he's an incredible talent. He showed it this last year, and I think it's going to be a very exciting team this year. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to take that next step. So I agree with you there, Matt, for sure.
All right, let's get into players not to draft. Players that we are deciding, no, I'll pass. Someone else can take them. I'll take the better guys. Who are you guys not drafting this season?
Well, as you guys both know, been playing with me fantasy for a long time now. I'm a big proponent and a believer of the Madden curse. So, unfortunately, Saquon Barkley, who is on my Eagles, who I love, I bleed green. I will not be drafting Saquon Barkley. He went for the money. He's going to get hurt. Look what McCaffrey happened to McCaffrey. And, along with all the touches Saquon had last year, regression is in the cards. I know it's a prolific offense. And I know the Eagles love to run the ball. They ran the ball a ton last year, and it looks like they're going to want to do the same this year. But look, you get on that Madden cover, man, you get hurt. I'm staying away from him, which actually opens the door for, A.J. Dillon and Shipley for me in the draft. I like one of those guys late as a wild card because I feel like Barkley's going to definitely miss some time. So, take it for what you will. Listen, if everything goes right and he doesn't get hurt, will he have the same production as he did last year? No, but he'll still have amazing production. But, man, put him on that cover, he totally nixes it for me. Joe Mixon, still dealing with an off-season foot and ankle injury. It has participated 0% in any camp, and week one looks very much in doubt, so I'm staying far away from him. Nick Chubb. Look, I have always been a big Nick Chubb fan, but ever since the injury, I'm not sure if he's the same guy, and I think that's what the Browns thought, and that's why they moved, away from him. So he's a guy I'm staying away from. Matter of fact, Woody Marks on Houston is a guy I'm looking at to come in at some point in the season and take the job over. I think he looks great in the camp. Houston drafted him in the 4th round. Ultimately, I think he could be, a guy there. And finally, I have Cooper Kupp, who has been placed in Seattle. Here's a guy that just lost it when he was with the Rams, and that's why they moved on. He's an older player now. And dig this, the coach loved him because he blocks. So when I heard that tells me everything I need to hear about Cooper Kupp. Do not draft Cooper Kupp this year. Stay away. Very hard to trust. Plus, on top of that, guys, multiple injuries, ankle and hamstring. Out of the last 51 games, he's only played 33. So, fantasy, as you guys know, it's a short season for us. It's shorter than the NFL season. You got to get guys that are going to play the whole season and make a difference to win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, well said. I have a big fear. I put a bet on it with a couple friends of mine. I do not think Joe Mixon plays at all this year. I just from what I've heard, and I have a few friends who are like, in the football industry, but apparently like it's not a good thing right now. I don't think he plays at all. And Nick Chubb is I love Chubb. He's always been one of my favorite running backs, Henry. And this year, I don't think that that entire room is just a cluster of something I just don't want to be a part of. But I think on the other hand, that could be good for the pass catchers. I think Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk. I think they're going to take advantage of it, and hopefully C.J. Stroud can get back in the driver's seat and really have himself a bounce back year. But I like those. I like those who to stay away from. I definitely agree with you there. If I can take over on my end, first and foremost, Alvin Kamara. The Saints have arguably the worst quarterback room in the NFL, and that's including the Browns too. But they got Tyler Shope, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Haener. I mean, holy cow! Their look ahead games
sounds like they're going for Arch.
The look ahead games lines imply they're going to score 19.2 points per game, the second lowest mark in the league. Their offensive line is it's average at best and below average by most. It's just a bad offense all around. And any way you look at it, it's potentially worse than the unit that finished 24th in scoring last year, which is saying a lot. And for those who are like, but Kamara finds his way through the passing attack in PPR leagues, I understand that. I'm shying away from it. Last year he had all this volume. He averaged 21 touches a game, and I don't really want to bet on a guy who's hitting the 30 years mark, betting on he's going to get the same volume with an entirely new coaching staff. It's just not for me. And then going back on, again, attacking I'm an ageist right now, but right now the Tyreek Hill is another guy I'm looking at. The data on wide receivers and reverse steep decline at age 31, it's just really poor. In his case, he's just battling both physical decline. Does he have mental issues? Maybe. There's just so many outcomes there. Things are going sideways for Tyreek's relationship with the team. Or if the season just goes sideways, I could see him shipped off. So I'm completely out on Tyreek. And then DeAndre Swift is my third guy. I see two paths for him to fail. First, I'm skeptical the Bears are going to instantly just rebound from the disappointing season last year under Ben Johnson. They have a very, very tough schedule in the beginning, and so I could see Bears fans are always talking about we're winning the offseason. Their schedule is not easy in the beginning by any means, and if this offense sputters out again, I'm pretty sure Swift is going to be one of those main guys who's struggling to provide any fantasy production needed to pay for that 5-6 turn ADP, and he's in the running back dead zone, which is always a nice no. He fits just that mold as the middling talent at risk of losing touches. The Bears had Roschon Johnson, but Kyle Monangai, he's been looking really good. He's been getting juiced up. So if Swift isn't going to have the goal line room role because of Roschon, and Kyle is creeping towards him and could be another sleeper, I'm just out on Swift. I'm not trying to take him anywhere. People could probably just put him as a throw-in for a trade, and I wouldn't accept it.
Jeff, one thing, Matt actually brought this up to me the other day, talking about Swift specifically, and I actually just looked up. Ben Johnson was with the Lions with DeAndre Swift for 2 years, 20 and 21.
Correct.
So if you remember, it was DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams show.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got both those guys out. That's when they brought in Gibbs and they got Montgomery. And it's like they just all right, your guys' turn, and they even did better. So to be devil's advocate, at least Swift, you got to figure knows the offense, and if he's going to try to do the same kind of thing, the two guns at running back, and Matt was talking about it, and it kind of makes sense, but it all remains to be seen, certainly. But interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely knew he was part of that, but they at the end of the day they got rid of him. So you got rid of the guy to get Jahmyr Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs right now he's a top 4 running back. DeAndre Swift is even behind that Eagles offensive line. When he was there 2 years ago, DeAndre Swift, he was okay at best. I just don't think he's a great running back. I mean. And when he was with the Lions, I'm pretty sure he had multiple injuries. He couldn't stay on the field. He had a ton of.
He was getting hurt all the time. And matter of fact, Matt, when he came to the Eagles, I was like, he's great, but he gets hurt. And Matt's, we have better training staff. Matt's always big with the training staff.
But yeah, I just for me, I don't trust DeAndre Swift. I think the Bears have a lot of mouths to feed that offense too. You've got DJ Moore, who was, very upset last year. He's supposed to be a captain for the team. You've got Robodunze, who's, another first-round talent. I'm sure that, through the headlines in camp, he's been an absolute red zone monster. He's been Caleb's go-to guy. And then this year in the draft, they got, Colston Loveland. They got Luther Burden in the second. There's just so many guys there. And with this talk of, Roschon's on the goal line and Kala Monangai making waves in the preseason and in training camp, I'm out for a 5-6 for a guy going in the 5th, 6th round on that turn. I can think of plenty of other guys who I can take a shot on with more upside or who don't have so muttered a backfield. But yeah, that's why I'm trying to stay away from Swift as much as I can. What about you, Matt? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I talking about Swift. Yeah, the training staff thing. Look at the 49ers strength and conditioning coach right now. You think he's a little under pressure? I think so. I remember the Philadelphia Eagles, same situation. A couple of years ago, they were just getting hurt. It was like every other week someone got hurt. And it was just like, what are we doing? And then I swear to God, I finally specifically remember when they fired the strength and conditioning coach. And ever since then, it's like I couldn't tell you the last time we had a really bad, season-ending injury. But I digress. Players not to draft. I have. I'm not a big fan of Tetairoa McMillan this season, and first and foremost, I want to explain why I'm not drafting these players. I'm not calling these players busts or anything like that. I just don't like the price I'm paying for at their ADP.
Which is a great way to look at it, man. Great way to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the right way to look at it. So Ted McMillan, he's being drafted in the 6th or 7th round on average. That's his average ADP. He's being drafted as the wide receiver 29. I love him. I love him. I have him so much.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh.
Okay.
Little glitch.
Little technical difficulties. It's okay.
Back to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Team.
Yeah, we are live here on YouTube, and you're listening live with us on Cruising 92.1 WVLT Vineland. Anyway, what I was saying, Ted McMillan, don't draft him. He is being drafted in the, what did I say? 6th or 7th round, on average, wide receiver 29. I have him so much further down in my projections because he's a rookie wide receiver. I understand that he's projected to be the one on this team, but I'm just not a believer. He is a talented wide receiver on a bad team. I do not think he's going to be able top 30 wide receiver on the season. Sorry. Like, that's what we're projecting him to be. That's crazy. Like, we're just throwing this kid on the Panthers, and we're like, yep, top 30. Nope. No thanks. Too rich for my blood. I'm out on Ted McMillan in redraft. The dynasty, completely different scenario, but I'm not loving Ted McMillan this season. I have him as my wide receiver 65. 65.
Wow, you really don't like him.
Now, Omarion Hampton. Listen, I love the talent, but he's being drafted way too high. I think there's other players I'd much rather have on my fantasy team that are better in the fourth round. The fourth round we're talking about here. Here's where he's being on average he's being drafted as running back 14. Keep that in mind. These are other players that you could have than Omarion Hampton, James Conner, Ken Walker, Alvin Kamara, Chuba Hubbard, DK Metcalf, Xavier Worthy, DJ Moore, Devonta Smith. Those are just some examples. I would probably rather have all of those guys than Omarion Hampton. Listen, I get that he's great and he's this awesome rookie running back, and they're going to run the ball and Greg Roman, all of that. But at the same time, there is still Najee Harris, who we know has been practicing. But I still think the veteran has some juice in him.
He's wearing the Johnny Depp patch.
Anyway, he's just going to be he's going. I don't think he's going to be a top 15 running back. There, I said it. Like, that's I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. We're just throwing this guy on the Chargers and saying, yep, top 15. No, wrong, incorrect. I don't even remember what I have him as. I don't think I have him at. I didn't even count. But my next player is RJ Harvey. This one's really interesting because after looking at the ADP across all platforms, his is all different. So the Broncos drafted Harvey in the second round, and then they signed J.K. Dobbins. The fantasy community immediately was like, well, don't worry about, J.K. Dobbins. He's old, but even though he did decently well last year on the Chargers. All of a sudden, J.K. Dobbins started getting the first team reps in camp. Weird. I'm not sold that this is going to be a 50-50 split between the two backs. If anything, I think J.K. Dobbins can dominate with the Broncos' offensive line. Harvey is currently going in the 5th round on Sleeper and Underdog, the 6th round on Yahoo, and the 8th round on ESPN. But on average, he's being drafted as the running back 22. I don't think he'll be a top 25 running back in fantasy this year. As a matter of fact, I have him as my running back 33. If anything, I'd be fine with taking him in the 8th round on ESPN. That's a decent price for him, but I'm much more of a believer in J.K. Dobbins this season. I have him as my RB14. Whew. Okay. We have 12 minutes.
I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Yeah, thank you. I'm frustrated with the amount of this is ridiculous. So we're just throwing people in here, and we're drafting them way too high. If you're listening, thank you so much. You are listening to us on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT Vineland. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. We will answer them for you. I think with the last 10 or so minutes, we should probably just go with our sleeper picks and leave the rest for next week. So let's do that. Henry, why don't you start us off with your sleeper picks?
All right, you got it. I'll tell you what. Cam Scatterboo, great sleeper. I'm sure Jeff would likes hearing that. I know he's a big Giants fan. Although Tyrone Tracy, who was a former wide receiver turned running back and also a 5th round pick, did pretty well this year. He did put the ball on the ground. I think Scatterboo brings size, strength, to this offense, and I think there's a good chance he takes over at some point during the season. So he's a good sleeper to look for. I mentioned Shipley earlier, and you know the reasons for that. So I'll go on the next one. Jackson Dart, another New York Football Giant. He looks great. Okay, he's a big breath of fresh air. I think he's a guy that is obviously picked the offense up really well. He's actually a really great person. He always comes to the different press outings. Just all, hey, what questions do you have? The kid's full of excitement, and I think he brings that on the field. So I'm really excited to see him get in there once Russell Wilson does what Russell Wilson usually does. So and crazy enough, I got another Giant, Theo Johnson. I think the coach loves him. 3 Giants, Jeff. The coaches love him. They have a lot of trust in him. Here's a guy you can get very, very late in the draft. And I don't know if you've been watching any of this Giants football, man, but they're targeting tight ends quite a bit. And especially Russ, because, he's not so lovingly throwing the long ball quite a bit. He likes those short intermediate throws. That's all tight end stuff. And then when Dart comes in, the tight end's always the guy you can certainly rely on. So there's some good sleeper picks. And I have to bring up a non-Giant, which I know you guys, Matt especially, probably does, like J.J. McCarthy. Listen, this guy's a beast, okay? I think he ends up being a top 12 quarterback this year. I'm going to bring up a quarterback from years ago. Dante Culpepper was also viewed very much like one J.J. McCarthy. And look what he did, okay? He turned beast mode. And J.J. McCarthy, guess who he has? The best wide receiver in the game to throw the ball to. Dante Culpepper, who did he have? Randy Moss, right? Listen, I'm seeing the comparisons. I'm seeing it. It's going to happen.
Sometimes it's too easy.
Right. I mean, it's like, here's the obvious. Take J.J. McCarthy, the late part of your draft, and sleep like a baby.
That's great. No, I mean, I agree on the J.J. McCarthy. I mean, I know in college, listen, he was more of a game manager. He wasn't asked, to win the game and all that stuff. But he's, to me, in my eyes, he's still a rookie. He's going to have a lot to learn. But I definitely think he's got the right coach. I mean, no matter who Kevin O'Connell has there, he makes them work. He makes guys that are, backups or third string quarterbacks on other teams, he makes them shine.
Right.
And
look what he did with Darnold. I mean, crazy.
Right. I mean, listen, Darnold was pretty much dead in the water, and they go on to win 14 games. The year before that, they have they have Kirk get hurt, and they bring in quarterback after quarterback, and they still find ways to win. They find ways to compete. So I think having him there, and then on top of that, you've got Justin Jefferson, you got Hawkinson, who's another year removed off that the injury. Addison's going to miss 2 games, but he'll be back. He's a great number 2. And that running game, that offensive line is going to get things running. That running game, and with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, they're going to be a safety net for him too, to dump the ball off. I think he's going to have a great year. I don't know if he'll be top 12. I'll temper my expectations on that. But I definitely think, especially if
he's not going to be top 12, Jeff.
But I mean, listen, Darnold was what, 8 last year in PPR anyway. I mean, he got me into the playoffs, and I had Kyler Murray on my team, who was dragging me through the mud in 2 leagues, and I had literally picked up Sam Darnold off the waivers in both leagues and got into the playoffs in both leagues. So go figure. But yeah, for me, before I was not drafting Tyreek Hill, and on the flip side, I am going to be looking for Jalen Waddle. It wasn't but 2 seasons ago. He's had the 100-catch rookie campaign, the 1,300-yard sophomore season. The disappointment aligns with Tyreek Hill taking the alpha share of the targets. But on top of that, he's had the slew of minor injuries, the missed games from Tua. And it's easy to forget that on a per route basis, he's just 1 year removed from being the 5th most efficient pass catcher in the NFL with a 2.8 yards per route run.
Love that.
He's still young.
Love that pick.
He's still.
Great.
I was listen. I got Waddle in a bunch of leagues last year. I was a year too early, and I really believe that. I think Hill is aging out. He has a questionable relationship with the team. A big thing for me, there's no more Jonnu Smith. I mean, Darren Waller hasn't even touched the field yet. I don't know what that signing was, but I don't think he's going to be a real benefactor. You got Achane, who's got this injury going now too. So if you can't rely on Achane, Jonnu Smith isn't there. Like, I think Waddle's in for a really big year. I'm going to look to try to target him in my drafts. And if you're getting him in the 6th and sometimes even the 7th round, I think that's a huge swing, for some upside. Because I don't think he deserves to be there. I think he's way too good. I think they have to try to find a way to get the ball in his hands. My second guy,
they had to get out of the home and then out of the wheelchair. Now he's walking on crutches. So
what a signing, man! It just blows my mind.
It's great for 87.
Another guy who I'm high on. I love Kenneth Walker this year, but I love Zach Charbonnet even more. When Kenneth Walker got hurt, Zach Charbonnet, he flashed his workhorse ability. He had total of 14 plus carries in 5 of his 6 starts and playing at least 75% of the snaps in all 6 of them. While Walker was healthy entering the 2025 season, Charbonnet is one of the few backup running backs who turned into legit 3-down workhorse, which is very tough to come by in the NFL. And for that reason alone, everyone wants Kenneth Walker to do well, but especially coming from me, I have him in a couple leagues in Dynasty. He's so frustrating to have because he could legit win you a game. Like he's had so many great games where he could just be a touchdown machine, and then the next week he just gets hurt. His abdomen, he tweaks an ankle, something happens, and then he's not reliable. Zach Charbonnet, he's always been there, and he's going to continue to just be that easy running back handcuff that I'm going to keep picking up in all my drafts. And this one is from the heart. I loved Kyle Williams in college. I thought he was very productive from a young age. He's one of the most critical pieces of predicting of NFL success is being productive in the college level at a young age. He slipped to the 3rd round of the NFL draft, but he's landed in a perfect spot. Yes, Stephon Diggs is there. Yes, Stephon Diggs looks great, but he's able to learn from one of the guys in Stephon Diggs. He's able to pick up these little bits and pieces. So, when it comes time for Stephon Diggs to go off to greener pastures and retire, Kyle Williams is going to slot into that alpha role. Right now, I think he's going to be a great X receiver for the team. I'm high on Drake May this year. And I think he's really helped pave a way for him. It's probably going to be a slow burn. I wouldn't expect him to kind of come out of the gates, like firing all cylinders. But I definitely think he could be one of those pickups you get off the waiver wire because he's honestly going undrafted in most of the drafts that I've done. But you can pick him up off the waiver wire, just stash him on the bench, and just see what happens. I think he's and he's going to learn a lot this year, and hopefully Drake May and that offense get it together because I think they're going to have a great year.
All right. Yeah, I did look up the Sam Darnold thing. He was quarterback 9 last year. And he also came from the horrible Jets offensive line, went to the really good Vikings offensive line. But, hey, who's tracking that?
Which McCarthy now is the beneficiary of? Thank you.
Yeah. I guess so. Listen, I'm telling you right now, first couple of games, Justin Jefferson owners are going to hear crickets, and they're going to be like, whoa, what's going on? I like this. Try to steal Justin Jefferson early on this season. I do agree with the Zach Charbonnet pick. I like that pick. I don't like how Kenneth Walker is a decent running back. I don't know. It's funny because like Seattle just kind of got another Chris Carson that's just bigger, but also gets hurt too. So Yeah, I like Zach
Some
Charbonnet
things just
'cause I
stay the
think-
same, Matt.
Right, exactly. Like there's some things that you can't fix, I guess, and they just draft guys that like to take contact, and I don't really get that. But Charbonnet is a good sleeper pick for sure. All right, my sleeper picks today are I'm starting to see Michael Wilson a lot, and I don't. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm wrong, but these are like my dart throw guys. So Michael Wilson, he is going undrafted right now on ESPN and Yahoo, and he's going into the 17th round on Sleeper. Yeah, it's pretty deep. I understand that. He is a wide receiver too on this team. He's going as a wide receiver 76 right now. He is fighting target shares from Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride, but he also had a 16.5% target share last season, and I think that can be bumped up a little bit this season. I like Wilson's talent. I think he will get the ball coming his way this year. I have him projected as the wide receiver 42, so I completely think he beats out his ADP. If he doesn't pan out, then I'm wrong. I'll admit it right here on this show, and I will drop him, and I will pick someone better up. Following Michael Wilson, I have Jaden Blue, who I just saw got hurt. Hopefully it's not a big deal. He is being drafted in the 12th to 14th round. His average is the RB 46. I like the opportunity he has to take over the backfield this season. Coaches have not been enthusiastic about Javonte Williams. I can't see a path where Miles Sanders is relevant on this team at all. So I do see the path where by midseason, Jaden Blue could be racking up fantasy points and, just be an absolute baller on your team. I have him as the RB40 this season, and I can see him do better than that, honestly. All right, last but not least, I have Adonai Mitchell. I'm really excited about him this year. I know last year was abysmal rookie season, but it was just his rookie season. Everyone's out on him. I don't get it. Like, he had a bad rookie season. How many wide receivers had bad rookie seasons? A lot. I don't think he'll go off right away. I think it'll take some time. But I do think he'll see more snaps. I think he'll see more targets. He was such a great wide receiver at Texas, and I believe he was at Georgia too, so he was great. I love what I've been seeing him do at camp. He's been catching the long ball, and I'm really excited to see him. He's a great late flyer this season. His ADP, he's being undrafted as well on ESPN and Yahoo, and drafted in the 17th round on Underdog and the 18th round on Sleeper. He's the average ADP of wide receiver 79, but I have him ranked as my wide receiver 58. All right. I think that is going to do it for today's draft special. You can see us here again next week, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, and on Wednesday nights, 5 p.m. on Cruiser 92.1 WVLT Vineland. I think that is what is going to do it here today for us, gentlemen.
Perfect.
All right, man. This was a great start. Looking forward to a great season, boys.
Yes. Glad to be back.
Yes.
All right. Have a good one.